a size 4S, huh? I use so big. Look at the big muscles.
I just wish our lives were bigger.
Really? At least let me put my kid down.
Clean up on aisle 6.
Sorry about the mess. Hold on.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2023 action comedy The Family Plan. The film is directed by Simon Callan-Jones and it stars Mark Wahlberg, Michelle Monaghan, Kieran Hines and Maggie Q. Now the film focuses on Mark Wahlberg's character Dan, who is a family man. He has a wife, he has 3 children that he adores. He's like a car salesman, but he's very, very private. He tries to stay off the grid because, as it actually turns out, he's a former assassin, I suppose you could call him. And those that he was previously involved with in his old life have found out who he is, where he is, and have decided to come after him. So he tries to keep his family safe by going on a road trip somewhere in order to try and put the people off his scent, but things just go from bad to worse throughout the whole trip. Right, what are my thoughts on The Family Plan? Well, this is in some ways quite an entertaining film, and in other ways a very, very tonally off and odd film. There is definite comparisons here to films that you have seen before, and it's kind of a blend really that doesn't make a lot of sense. You've got definite True Lies vibes going on here, the Schwarzenegger film, and mixing in that with National Lampoon's Vacation, the Chevy Chase classic comedy. It seems like they've taken elements from both of them films and kind of, squashed them together, and tonally they just don't mix. If this film had kept the tone balanced throughout, it probably would have worked a little bit better, but I just found this film hard to come to terms with, because the comedy side of it and the family movie and the comedy and the giggly baby and the slapstickness and the situational comedy side of the film is completely at odds with the violence in the film. Now, I'm not saying this is like R-rated violence or anything, but it just doesn't seem to match the light comedy that the film is going for as well. The film also is desperately predictable. There is no getting around that as well. I mean, there's not always something wrong with a predictable film. I'm not saying I have to watch every film and it has to be full of surprises and twists and turns. Sometimes a good predictable film is good. So it's not necessarily a massive criticism that the film is predictable, but it is. It's one of those films that you can kind of pretty much figure out where it's going from minute 1 to kind of when the credits roll. But there's a definite charm here about the film as well. Mark Wahlberg is kind of made for movies like this. At times I can watch a Mark Wahlberg film and just think it just doesn't suit it. It doesn't suit that role. It doesn't suit that character. And as an actor, I have to be honest here, I don't necessarily rate him. I think when he plays to his strengths, Mark Wahlberg's good, and it's usually in movies like this where it's quite light. He does have good comedy timing and he's got other people to bounce off, sort of thing. So he does suit the role here, and physically, the physicality of the role, he suits very, very well. For me though, I think that the one that pretty much steals this film, pretty much from under him almost, is Michelle Monaghan. And I've been a fan of Michelle Monaghan's for many years. I think the first time I saw her was in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I think. There was that other film she did with about the Transformers film whose name has escaped me now. But either way, what I'm trying to say is I've been a fan of hers for years. I think she's got great charisma, and she plays the mother here and the wife of Mark Wahlberg, and she just bloody nails it. You know what I mean? This part here where she's funny, she's charming, she can be serious when she needs to be serious, and she commits to the role as well physically. So I really enjoyed her performance. I thought it was a very, very charismatic and fun performance from her. Everybody else in the film, the kids, all play the roles well. They all do what you expect them to do. There's nobody that stands out in regards to a poor actor. Kieran Hines plays the predictable villain here, but it's a one-dimensional character with odd motivations. When you find out what his link is to Mark Wahlberg, doesn't make an awful lot of sense. But you know, it's a one-dimensional villainous role. And Maggie Q, again, you see her in a movie like this. I mean, her part here in this film, you see her early in the film, and she kind of makes this connection to Michelle Monaghan's character. And then you don't see her again for a while, and you're just thinking, right, okay, well, you know where that's going. A very predictable role from Maggie Q, but again, she can pull these roles off really, really well. So this is what I mean by the predictability. Some of the casting choices are very predictable, as well as the story. But you know, it moves along at a nice steady pace. It's not offensive to watch or anything like that. It's charming occasionally, it's funny occasionally, and there are moments of action thrown into the film. But like I say, the action for me is, at times it is a bit slapstick, but at other times it's quite, as I say, violent, and it just doesn't seem to match the rest of the film. And there's massive plot holes, really. It's one of those films where you can kind of drive tanks and buses through the plot holes and stuff in the film. I mean, he goes to great lengths in this film. He goes on this road trip with his family, and he goes to huge lengths to stay off the grid. You know, chucks people's phones out of the car, telling them, you know, we're going on this vacation, there's no social media, there's no online activity, blah blah blah. You know, he knows how to stay off the grid. But it's one of those films where, regardless of where they are, the villains turn up. They're where they need to be, even though there's a scene where you see him take a bug out of the car and that's gone and stuff. It doesn't matter. You know, they go and visit like a university type place that the daughter's interested in attending, and they turn up there. Everywhere they go, the villains turn up, and it's just an excuse, if you like, to give us another fight scene or an escape scene or something like that. So it's nonsensical at times, but if you don't put an awful lot of thought into this film, and you can kind of forgive its failings, there is an entertaining film underneath it all, and one that, you know, it's not offensively bad or anything like that, even though the reviews that I'm seeing aren't exactly being particularly complimentary towards the film. But it's worth checking out if you've got a good hour and a half to waste. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this review. I'll be back with more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.